hold the space for light and for love. Hey folks, it's Susan Edwards at The Rock Shop at 311 Broadway, historic downtown Paducah, where positive energy works. And I want to get right into it because I have another message now from Archangel Ariel. I was kind of whining around a little bit about all the changes that are going on. Archangel Ariel reminded me that if change is what you ask for, you need to expect things to change. Okay, yeah. Good point. She then went on and said, when you resist change, it can be painful to enjoy the flow of energy and to focus on your desired outcomes, and what you expect will be what you will get. So expect the best. So she's like, go through the process and do not be dismayed, because there were a lot of things that weren't functioning very well and they needed to be changed. As Archangel Ariel has said, if we want change, we have to go through the change. And then she said, how this looks on the other side is entirely up to you. You can have chaos and fear, or you can have harmony and contentment. And I said, well, I get a lot of questions about, well, when is this going to be over? And she again reminded me, this will never be done. Change is never over. There's always something to move through. Energy is always changing. That's a constant. When you get dismayed over change, or when you hang on to the old for too long, that's when things get dicey. And then she showed me the image of Tarzan swinging through the jungle. And as he goes through the jungle, he swings on one vine and then he lets go and reaches out to the next vine and just knows that it's going to be there and that it's going to be secure. And then she showed me that if you hang on to the old vine for too long out of fear, the whole thing falls apart. Your momentum stops. If you hang on too long, you slide down and blow up on the jungle floor you go, and that's not where you really want to be. And you just, at some point, you have to let go and just trust that that next vine is going to be there, and then grab it and swing with the momentum. And so I thought that was really powerful, because right now, boy, we are swinging, and it's scary to let go of the old and to just know and appreciate that there is going to be another solid vine there for us to grab a hold of and to swing on. So I thought that was a great analogy. Learn how to recognize big shifts and stay light on your feet. Go with the flow. When you no longer depend on outside influences for your state of being, this is a much easier task. If you've ever been in a strong current, you know it's pointless to try to swim against it. You just exhaust yourself. It's much easier to let the current take you where you want to go, making slow strides toward your desired outcome. Go with the flow. So I said, well, how are we to do this? Rise above the chaos. Rise above the fear. There will always be those on your soul's journey that cannot see or hear. And while that seems on the surface tragic, it is ultimately their soul's choice as to when and how to open up to the larger message. When we say wake up, we are calling you. It's time for you to do your job. This is the job that you asked to be a part of. And what an exciting time to be incarnate on Earth. And I'm like, okay, could you just be specific about what that job is? You know me, I like the details, right? She continued, hold the space for light and for love. Now, that's not the first time that that message has come across to me. And it's like, what does that mean? So what I saw when she explained it to me was this network of like relay stations. And then there's like a honeycomb shape that they all reach together, and they're all just spread out across the earth. And I'm convinced that what we're supposed to be doing here, we meaning the lightworkers, the starseeds, and all of those who have woke up to God's message, is that we are to receive that higher frequency and to disseminate it, sort of like radio signals being amplified across the planet. And so when we're really doing our job, what we're doing is we're holding this space for light and for love. And that can be challenging when lots of stuff around us is filled with chaos and pain and suffering. It's like, well, don't you care? Well, yeah, actually I care deeply, and that's why I'm holding this space for light and for love. Reach out your spirit and touch one another. The universe responds to those who tune in to love. And then I said, well, how? And they showed me a little 30-second exercise, which I'm going to do at the end of the message because it's like silly. But it really helps to bring your frequencies up. You need to disconnect from the common wisdom and use God's wisdom. And I said, well, what about this virus thing? You know, there's a lot of conspiracy theories and it's fake. And yes, it is real, as are thousands of other pathogens that are ready and able to kill you. You know how to protect yourself. Stay apart for a while. Be protected. Use common sense. Keep your body healthy and strong. Keep your spirit healthy and strong. Keep your mind healthy and strong. And I said, well, once again, how long is this going to last? I know they get tired of me asking same old questions, right? We told you this too shall pass, but the damage from the earthquake and the tsunami, now we're not talking about a literal earthquake or a literal tsunami here. We're talking about the virus pandemic and the economic fallout, which would be likened to the tsunami, that has occurred will be in effect for a lifetime. This is indeed a watershed moment. Nothing will be the same afterwards. And we encourage you now to decide what you want your new life to look like. Pick a future where all are vital and a part of society. Pick a way of living that is in balance. Focus on sustainable. Be in love with life, with yourself, with each other. Be in joy. And I said, well, what about all of those who are suffering right now, in pain, dying, and hungry? You know, they're hungry right now. And then she responded, if you were being fed off an unsustainable source of revenue, be prepared to lose that stream. Pivot. Those unsustainable practices will dissolve. So what she showed me next was back in the early 1900s and in the 1800s, she showed me these whip makers. And she said when the autos came, they were much less needed. So they really had to reimagine their futures because whip making was suddenly not as vital. And I said, well, what about those who are hungry? And she said, well, you have been convinced that there isn't enough food. There is. It's a distribution problem. So, okay, well, how do we fix that? Because there's still a lot of hungry people out there. She said, get quiet. Ask God for help, and then listen, and then be a part of the solution. Every little creative solution helps the whole situation. Someone will call, someone will make themselves available. Take a moment and see how you can be helpful, and then do it. These things will take time, but be patient. Be persistent in seeking love. Be steady. Go inside. Find your joy and focus on that. That truly is your mission critical right now. And then she ended with, be blessed. We are always here to help and to answer any questions that you have. And then she had me sign it Archangel Ariel. A few days ago when I was hoping to hear from the angels, I could tell that my energy wasn't as high as it needed to be. Remember, when you want to connect with angels or any of these higher light beings, you have to basically turn your radio dial to the station where you can hear their broadcast. So you have to bring your human frequencies up. They can come down a little bit, but there's a point where they can't broadcast on really low frequencies. So you can't be in anger or fear or any of those low emotions and expect to be able to connect with the higher beings. It's the wrong radio stations. They've showed me this technique before, But they gave me this exercise to do right in the beginning of my meditation. And I tell you, it immediately changed my frequencies. When I bring my frequencies up, I can tell that I've reached a level of gratitude because I get very emotional. And it took about 30 seconds of this. When you get started, I promise you, you're going to feel stupid. What can I say? But it's going to bring your frequencies up. So here's what you do. Are you ready? Because it is silly. Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy. Happy, happy, joy, joy, happy, happy, joy. I know. It's very silly. You could also do this little light of mine. I'm going to let it shine. Now I'm sitting, but I recommend that you stand up if it's at all possible and you start to bounce. Okay. Yeah, you're going to feel silly. Keep doing it for it took about 30 seconds for me to feel that my frequencies were coming up, and then I started to cry. And that tells me I'm spot on that station. I'm tuned in, I'm ready to receive. So wiped away my tears, felt in gratitude. Oh, and I'm feeling it right now. Okay. Whew, okay, I'm feeling gratitude. And that always makes me emotional because it's just such a state of grace. It just really, really connects you to the divine. So however you need to do it, but you got to get that energy going. When you bring your frequencies up, you're going to know it. You're going to feel better. It's like almost instantaneous. And if you want to connect with your angels, that is a perfect way to do it. And that's how they showed me how to bring my frequencies up quickly. Hope that helps. If this has been helpful in any way, shape, or form, I'd sure appreciate a thumbs up. Make some comments down in the section below. We'll have some links. And don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't already subscribed, hit the bell. And please have a blessed day. Namaste.